Hello students, and welcome to your week 5 activity directions video. This video is going to focus on your week 5 activity graph matchmaker. Now the way you complete this assignment will vary based on what you have available to you. If you have a printer, I do suggest printing out the week 5 activity graph matchmaker PDF. That's located at the bottom piece of the file here. If I click on that, it opens a PDF file into a new tab. Be sure to print that out if you have a printer. If you do have a printer and you print that out, you're just going to take a picture of your results. However, make sure that when you do that, you still describe the motion of the object for each graphing pair. Now, I'll go further in detail about what to do when I open the Microsoft Word document. That's going to be for students who don't have a printer, or if you don't want to print them out, you can simply complete this assignment on the Word document. So if you click on the Week 5 Activity Graph Matchmaker Word, that will download a Word document for you. You'll see the Word document downloaded down here on my Google Chrome. However, if you have Mozilla Firefox, a lot of times there'll be an arrow up towards the address bar around here, and you'll click on that arrow and that would open your downloads folder for you. If I click on the file that I downloaded, you will see that it opens into a Microsoft Word document. If you see this yellow tab around the top, make sure you click Enable Editing. That will allow you to edit the Microsoft document. So for the Graph Matchmaker document, there is some instructions as far as background information. And then there is an example that you can look at to compare what we're doing. So ultimately, the goal for this assignment is you're given a distance and position, or a position versus time graph, and you're going to match the velocity versus time graph with the position time graph. And then below that, you would describe in terms of motion of that object that would fit for both of those graphs. Now you'll notice there's a couple of the position versus time graphs. And then when you get to the bottom, there are separate velocity time graphs that you can actually move. So if you click on one, you can move it. If you want to move it more fluid, you can click on the graph. You'll see this pop up. And then I suggest going to this section here, or this selection. It's in front of text. And that will allow you to grab the graph and move it to a different location. And just simply match it with the position time graph you think that it goes with. So this might not be correct, but again, that's what you'll do for each individual velocity time graph. And then you're going to want to describe the motion of the object here. So if I go back to the example, you'll notice here that I have a position versus time graph. And the way that you can do this and try to figure out is by asking common questions each time. So for example, is the position changing? In this graph, the position is changing because we have a diagonal line. It has a slope. It's not staying in one location. Since it has a positive slope, that means it's moving in the right direction, and we're going to have a positive velocity. So we don't want to have a graph where the velocity line is down here in the negative part of the x-axis. We want it to be positive or above the x-axis like it is here. So this would be considered a constant positive velocity. And anytime you have a position versus time graph that's a straight diagonal line like this, you have a constant velocity. So that's how you can match these together. I knew that this position was changing. I knew it was in the positive direction, and I knew it was a constant velocity. So I looked for a velocity time graph where there was a straight horizontal line in a positive location on the y-axis, and that's how I got those two to match. And then if I describe this, I could say I have a person that's walking to the right at a constant positive velocity. And that would be a description of the motion. So that would be an example, but again, make sure to follow these helpful hints on how to match your graphs. And those are going to help you finish the remaining graphs that you will do. If you have any questions, if you get stuck, if you need help, make sure that you reach out to me so I can help you. I'm not one that will let you struggle for a long period of time. I would rather help you with your assignments. Once you're done with this, make sure to do File, Save As, and then you can find a folder within your computer by hitting Browse. Or if you notice that when you download the Word document from Blackboard, it goes into your Downloads folder. I do suggest saving it to a permanent folder within your My Documents. However, I will leave that up to you. Some students like to save it to their OneDrive, and that's totally fine as well. It's entirely up to you on how you want to save it. Just make sure you save the document. And when you're done with the document, you'll go back into this assignment piece in Blackboard, and you'll click the Week 5 Activity Graph Matchmaker title. And when you get into this part, this is where you can browse My Computer or upload your file that you saved as your Word document. Now, if you did the part where you can print out your graphs, if you want to make a video of them and explain that, that's totally fine. If you want to have separate pictures, that is totally fine as well, as long as you explain the motion of the object, whether it's handwritten, typed on a separate document. You can always attach more than one file here. So that's how you will submit the assignment. Whenever you upload your files and you're ready, you can hit the blue Submit button, and that will submit it to me for grading. Again, reach out to me if you need help. Otherwise, when you're done with this assignment, you can go ahead and move forward to the last assignment in week 5.